So imagine this. You work on a cruise ship, living in a tiny cabin the size of a walk-in closet, and the only person you have to share it with snores like a human foghorn. I'm talking full surround sound, earthquake-level decibels. I tried to be patient. I tried to be nice. But when she refused to do anything about it, let's just say, I made sure she heard exactly what I had to live through. Life on a cruise ship is supposed to feel like an escape. Blue water, endless sunsets, music drifting through the decks. It sounds peaceful, right? Well, not when your roommate sounds like she's gargling gravel in her sleep. I've been working as a performer on this cruise line for years. It's a dream gig for a lot of people. Travel the world, perform for crowds every night, live rent-free on board. The only catch? Space is limited, which means roommates. And not just normal roommates, bunk bed roommates. Yeah, I'm on the top bunk, and she's below me. And my story starts the night I learned that her sleep could rival a dying chainsaw. It was our first week sharing the room. Everything seemed fine at first. She was friendly, organized, even quiet, when awake. But the first night, that was the end of peace as I knew it. At first I thought something was wrong with the ship, like the anchor was scraping or a pipe was bursting. Then I realized, no, that sound was coming from directly below me. My roommate was snoring so loudly, I could feel the vibrations through the mattress frame. I thought maybe it was just one rough night. Maybe she was exhausted. But no, it was every night, without fail. And it wasn't just the snoring. She'd choke in her sleep, like literally gasping mid-snore. The first time it happened, I nearly jumped down from my bunk thinking she was dying. But no, she'd roll over and keep going like a malfunctioning lawnmower. I tried everything. Earplugs? Didn't work. Headphones with music? Still heard her through it. White noise machine? Just created a horror movie soundtrack of overlapping sounds. I even considered sleeping in the hallway once, but that's a fast way to get written up. Every morning, I'd drag myself to rehearsals with dark circles, running on caffeine and rage. When you perform for hours every day, sleep isn't a luxury, it's survival. So after a few nights of torture, I decided to talk to her like an adult. I waited until she was in a good mood and said gently, "Hey, I've noticed you snore really loudly. Maybe we could find something to help you sleep better, like those strips or a machine?" Her response, "Oh, yeah, I've been told that before," she said, laughing. And then, I kid you not, she added, "It doesn't bother me though, so I'm good." I blinked. Did she really just say that? I tried to keep it calm. I said, "Well, it kind of keeps me up most nights and it's affecting my work." She shrugged. "I mean, I can't control it. Maybe you should just wear thicker earplugs." That's when I knew. Logic wasn't going to work. But what made it worse? Changing roommates on a ship is almost impossible, unless someone commits a serious infraction. And she snores too loud doesn't exactly qualify as a crime. So I endured. Night after night, the soundtrack of my misery continued. The worst part? Her snores didn't even have a rhythm. It was like jazz music made by a dying walrus. Some nights she'd start soft, then crescendo into a full-on choking opera. Then came the night, the one that pushed me past the edge. We'd had a long day. Rehearsals, performances, meet and greets, everything. I'd been up since 9 a.m. and didn't clock out until after 11 p.m. My body hurt, my eyes were burning, and I had to wake up at 6 the next morning for a mandatory safety drill. I climbed into bed thinking, please, just one quiet night. And then it started, louder than ever. It was like she had a subwoofer in her throat. By 3 a.m., I'd only gotten 2 hours of sleep, and as I laid there, staring at the ceiling, listening to her snore like a beast, something inside me just snapped. I wasn't going to suffer quietly anymore. So the next day, when she left the room, I grabbed my phone and hit record. 30 minutes of pure, unfiltered snoring. The deep growls, the gasps, the death rattles. I got it all. And when I played it back, even I was disturbed. Now, I didn't plan to go nuclear immediately. I was going to wait for the perfect moment, and it came the next day during our break between shows. She was lounging in her bunk, about to take one of her infamous mid-afternoon naps. I walked in, calm as ever, pretending to scroll on my phone. "Hey," she mumbled. "I'm just gonna nap before the evening performance." "Oh, sure," I said casually. As soon as she closed her eyes, I pressed play. Her own snoring filled the room, loud, jarring, identical to what I'd been living with every night. She shot up instantly. "What the hell is that?" she yelled. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "That's you, snoring. You said it's not a big deal, so I figured you wouldn't mind." Her jaw dropped. "Turn it off," she demanded. I just shrugged. "Why? You sleep fine through this every night." She called me insane and stormed out, but I wasn't done. For the next 3 days, every time she tried to nap, I played her own snoring back, loud and proud. She tried covering her ears, blasting her own music, but nothing drowned out the sound of herself. Eventually, she snapped. She went to management, furious, claiming I was harassing her. So I got called in. Our manager sat me down with that look. I can't believe I have to deal with this nonsense look. She told her side first, making it sound like I was just playing loud noises for fun. But when I explained my side, how I'd tried to talk to her, how I hadn't slept in weeks, how she refused to even try to fix it, the manager's tone changed. She turned to my roommate and said, "Why didn't you try to do something about the snoring? It clearly affects her ability to work." My roommate just crossed her arms, muttering, "It's not my fault. I can't help it." The manager sighed. "Maybe not, but refusing to address it is making you difficult to live with. I'll see what I can do about moving you both." And just like that, karma docked early. Within a few days, we were both reassigned to new roommates. My new one, quiet as a mouse, slept like an angel. The first night, I got 8 straight hours of blissful silence. No growls, no gasps, no nightmares, just peace. I'll admit, maybe it was a bit petty, but after weeks of being dismissed, ignored, and robbed of sleep, hearing her finally feel the chaos she caused me, that was pure satisfaction. It's funny how people only take a problem seriously when they have to hear it themselves. She didn't believe me when I said it was unbearable. But once she was on the receiving end, suddenly, it wasn't funny anymore. In the end, I didn't even have to get revenge. I just held up a mirror, and she couldn't stand the reflection. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't loud, it's simply showing someone what they sound like when they refuse to listen. So yeah, if you're ever stuck in a cabin with a human foghorn, maybe don't underestimate the power of a good recording app. If you enjoyed that story of poetic justice, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life revenge tales where karma gets creative. Tell me in the comments, what is the most annoying roommate habit you've ever had to survive? Until next time, sleep tight and try not to snore.